Pink Poodle Crafts, join the Poodle Pack. It's time to get creative and make you laugh. Make your own art today. Pink Poodle Crafts is the way.
What a good boy. Hey crafty family, it's me. And today I am going to show you something fun you can do with probably stuff that you already have around your craft room, because if you're anything like me, you probably have an excess of crap and stuff that you don't even really use anymore laying around your craft room that you could be using for other things. So what I want to show you how to do is make basically some either liquid watercolors or some of those liquid metals, that type of a thing, because Ken Oliver has those liquid metals, and yeah, you should be able to make those yourself. Really, there's a couple different ways. There's an easy way, and then there's another way that's not quite as easy, but depending on what you have in your craft room, it might be a cheaper alternative. So first, let me just show you what these are. Shaky, shaky, because they've got a mica in them. And I'll shake this one too. Do them both. And anytime you have anything that's shimmery or metallic, or that says it's, you know, glittery or anything, you definitely want to shake it. If it's a liquid, of course. If it's a more of a solid, like stickles, it's kind of, the glitter is suspended throughout the glue that's in there. But when it comes to like liquids, you definitely want to give it a shake, shake, shake sonora. Okay, so I'll show you just a little sample of what they look like. And then I'll show you what I made, and I'll show you how I made it. So here is the liquid metals, which you could see are shimmery. And then there's this pink one right here, and obviously if you mix them together, you'll get like a lavendery color in the middle. It's like a gray lavender. You see? You see? And you'll be able to see the shimmer more when they're dry. And then I made my own lavender, kind of a teal and a pink. However, they're not exactly the same colors as those, but I kind of like my colors better, actually. So here's my version of the teal and my version of the pink. And there's more in my bottle, and didn't cost nearly as much. And then here is the pink that I made. I think that's the lighter pink. I have a darker pink too. I made 2 different tones of pink because, you know, why not? You can make whatever you want. So I made like a bubblegum pink, and then I made, just make sure I shake and get all the mica off the bottom. Okay, we're good now. And then I've got, there we go, that's the darker pink. There we go. So those are my colors, and those are their colors. Yeah. Now I could add more mica to mine to make them even sparklier. It depends on what you want. You can make them as sparkly or as shimmery as you want, but you know, theirs might be slightly shimmerier than mine, only because I have more shimmer and I just haven't put it in there, but I can, and I can make it just as shimmery. In fact, I think my pink one is, or maybe it was the purple one. I do have a purple one too that I made. I can't remember which one was like super shimmery, but I don't really care whether it's super shimmery. But, you know, obviously the more mica you add, the more shimmery it's going to be. So this is my purple. Yeah, I think my purple is the most shimmery one. That's the one I added the most of the mica powder to, I think. So I've got to wait for it to dry though to see the shimmer, whereas those are already dry. So I'm going to show you how to basically make these or liquid watercolors. It's not hard. There's two different ways you can go about it. Now, if you have these here, which are liquid watercolors already, they're by Sargent Art, and there's actually ones by Sargent Art and then ones by Saks, which I thought I had them. Let me see really quick. I didn't even think of that. I might have some of the Saks ones as well. I do, and they already have sparkle in them. That's right, I forgot about these. The Saks ones already have sparkle in them. I totally forgot about these, but I tend to not, I don't like these as much. The sparkle is too thick because it's more of a sparkle instead of a mica. So the sparkle is like weird, whereas these have mica, which is, mica is a natural, like naturally made mineral rock. And obviously the glitters, unless it's glass glitter. And these are thicker, so they're a bigger bottle, and they're still awesome. I mean, I actually love them because they're really sparkly and they're pretty. You know, but they've got actual glitter in them. So they're, you know, I can add mica to it. But they've got actual like chunky, not chunky, but they've got glitter in them. But they do make a watercolor that is not glittery as well. They make just a regular watercolor. But I like these. You get 10 of these, 10 different colors. Now, like I said, these are bigger. These are 8 ounces, and I think these are 4 ounces, but this is still big. This is still plenty to make a bunch of small bottles up because, you know, there's plenty of them, and there's plenty of stuff in here. And I've showed these before. I'll put a link for them in the description. But what's cool about these is you can take them, you can mix your own colors, because you get like a magenta and a red and a turquoise and a blue and a green and a yellow and I think you get a black and you get all kinds of colors. However, if you want to make more custom colors, you can, and you can make your own sprays with them. So you can take the color, put it in here, and you could dilute it with a little water. You can add a little mica and make your own little shimmer mists with them. Makes it really easy. And they're about $20 to $25 for all 10 of them on Amazon, which is not bad. Don't mind my fingers because messing with all this has made my fingers disgusting. So that's an easy way to do it if you want to spend the money or you already have these. But if you don't already have those, and maybe you have other things laying around the house, you can also still make these with other things. So let's say you have, where is it? Here it is. Some distress stain. This stuff works really good. It's basically liquid watercolor. So if you have old distress stains that you're not using, get them out and, you know, revitalize them and use them. I'm going to try to find a color. What I was doing when I initially made mine was I was utilizing various things. I wasn't just using one thing or another. I was kind of using several things together to get the colors I wanted. So if you have these, and let's say you have some dye reinkers, you don't want pigment reinkers for this, but dye reinkers, like I have, where'd it go? There it is. This old blue, sailboat blue reinker, you know, and if you have any other dye reinkers, like from your distress pads, if you have Tim Holtz distress pads and you have some reinkers for it, you can make your own liquid watercolor. The only difference is, although these have kind of a watercolor property to them, they will still stain the paper. Like, I'll show you what well, this needs to be mixed, I guess. Well, that wasn't going to work out well. Going. For some reason, there's not much color coming out. Okay. So if you take the color and put it down and let it dry, and you go to move it with water on a paintbrush, it's not really going to happen because it's going to stain the paper. I'll show you. So it might move a little bit. Yeah, this one moves. See, some of the colors don't, but still it's staining the paper. It's never going to lift very much. And if you want it to have more chance of lifting, and here's the thing, some colors lift, some pigments will, like blues, they stain. Like, I don't care what watercolor you have. If you have a blue watercolor and you put it down on your paper, like even just this, even the Sargent, blue tends to be like one of those colors that even if you put it down and let it dry, it's still like, you can lift it somewhat, obviously, to watercolor with it, but it's still, blue is just one of those pigments that seems to like penetrate the paper and not move, you know. And like, here's a purple. See how it's lifting, but it's still leaving behind the, you know what I'm saying? The bulk of the color is still there. You're never going to get that up. Whereas like, you know, same with even this one. I think it just depends on the watercolor, you know, it depends on the watercolor. Even the ones I have, they're going to do that a little bit. But you have a better chance, especially with certain things, you know, because like here's that ink too. If you don't care about this and you just want the sparkle color, but see how that's stained? You could see it. This now, like the ink, for instance. Now, if you're just going to use the distress stains, which will, you know, you could pretty much pick them up with water. But if you're going to use like ink, re-inkers, that'll just sink right into the paper. And you really, unless you add a lot of water to it before you even put it on, like if you put it on your craft mat, mix a lot of water with it, you'll have a better shot. But it will just literally seep into the paper, and look, it's going to seep right onto the other side. So what you want to do is, in that case, or really at all, unless you have actual liquid watercolors, I would get yourself some gum arabic. It's good to have anyway. This is the like binder and the actual thing that makes watercolor. So you could take this gum arabic, mix it with dry pigments, and make your own watercolor of that color right there. You know, or whatever color pigment you have. And if you need pigments, because you can also use pigments to make your liquid watercolors or your liquid shimmer colors or whatever. Earth Pigments has them for a really good price. You can go there and buy whole sets of pigments, and you get a pretty good sized pot, which will last you forever and a day. And, you know, you can mix up whatever colors you want, because you can add whatever colors you want. So I'm going to take some yellow and make a yellow, even though I have a yellow liquid watercolor. But I'm going to show you how I do it with this. I'm going to add a couple different colors of yellow, because you'll see if I take it, right, and I put it here, and I take a pipette or just a paintbrush even that's wet with water, and I put that on there, it gives you color. But obviously, because it doesn't have a binder, you can't see it because it's really pale right now because I watered it down way too much, but it doesn't have a binder, so it's not really going to last or stay on your paper. So it's kind of pointless, but you can, you know, totally, you know, do that. So what we're going to do is, let's see what this one looks like. Because I got two different yellows here. I'm just going to maybe mix them together. Just for like ha-has and fun. Because why not? Because who says I can't? But, you know, this one's much more strong. This is a stronger pigment, so I might just use this one, which is the lemon yellow, which actually looks lighter than this one. But this one's a more transparent yellow, and this one's a much more opaque, because I think this is the oxide pigment. The oxide pigment are pigments, so they're more pigment than they are dyes. Actually, both of these are oxides, but for some reason this one's nice and quite a bit stronger. So I'm going to use that because they have oxide pigments. I'll just add it to this, which aren't the same as, like, I mean, it's similar to what Tim Holtz uses in his colors for his oxides, but it's not exactly, you know, it's not going to do the same thing. So I'm just going to put some in there. Start out with a really small amount and make a mess while I'm at it. And then I'll take a pipette and grab some clean water. And I'll start off by just putting a little water in. And then what I found works best is a little paintbrush, because when I tried to mix it with like something else, I couldn't like push down on it very well and like work it like I could with a paintbrush, and just mix it around and kind of use the paintbrush to kind of mash it to make sure all the pigment is nice and broken up, which some colors are easier than others. I'm making a mess too. Yep, just splattering away. So obviously I'm going to want more. So now I'll add some more. And now obviously, like I said, you don't have to use these. If you have reinkers, you can use reinkers. If you have those distress stains, use the distress stains, or anything else like that, you know? Stuff you have laying around that you're like, meh, not really using this, so, you know, utilize that as the thing that you use to help you along. And I'll show you some other tricks you can do. So once you get your dry pigments, if that's what you're going to use, dissolved enough, I scratched my paper with the metal of the paintbrush. Then you're going to take some of the gum arabic, and I can't really tell you exactly how much to use. You just eyeball it, really. You just take some and you just start putting in, you know, little bits. I'm not filling the whole thing up. I'm just putting in little squirts. And then mixing it up. Now, obviously, I wouldn't use that much gum arabic in this little bit, but I'm going to add more water, so. Because gum arabic, it wants to be watered down, unless you're making a powder, like an actual watercolor, like a hard watercolor, like the typical kind that are in like a palette or something. You want to definitely, you know, if you're doing it that way, then you don't have to put water in it. But if you want to water it down if you're going to be making a liquid, obviously. That just makes sense. So here we can just check it out, and it's acting more like a watercolor now in the way it's going down. So I can check and see when I add water to it. It's, yeah, see how it's lifting nicely? And it's giving a nice watercolor effect where it's, I could literally take my rag and almost wiped the paper clean. So the yellow works real nice, you know, and here it is without the gum arabic, and I'm having a really hard time getting it out of here. Like, it is not coming clean. It's loosening a little bit, but not the same as when I put the gum arabic in. It makes a big, big difference. So we have yellow, and what if I want to make it darker or add something else to it, and I don't have a re-inker? If you happen to have brushos or the color bursts, you can actually make the color a bit more intense by using that. Now, I know that you're going to be like, well, if I have color bursts, then I can just use that completely. But why waste all your color bursts? You can use other things. I don't have any yellow distress stain, because I'd add some of that if I did. Oh, maybe I do. What's this? Oh, yeah. It's crushed olive. No. Never mind. Never mind. That ain't gonna work. Yeah, I don't have a yellow. So, let's see. Here we go. I have yellow this. So we can intensify and change the color by just adding a few shakes of that and then mixing it again. And it'll just intensify the color, because I'm going to want to fill this up because a full one of these little like medicine cup things will fill up one of these bottles pretty much. So now the color is, you know, a bit more intense than that was. So you can just, instead of, you know, because the more pigment powder you mix in, the more chalkier it's going to be. So if you could break it up with, and, you know, with like these liquid watercolors or, you know, some other thing, then all the better. And let's say, you know, I have these here, but maybe I don't like this color. Maybe I am not as impressed with this yellow. Maybe it's too bright, right? It's just too, it's like very bright yellow. Well, if I like this yellow, which I do, it's a much more subtle yellow, but I want to add some drops of this, I can add some of this liquid watercolor and then some more of my water. And I won't have to add as much, you know, if I do want to add more pigment, I won't really have to. So you can just play around and utilize the things that you have, whether it's re-inkers or distress stains or whatever, you know. Mess around with what you already have and just make your own supplies. So now I have a more vibrant version than this here, but a little bit less vibrant than that, which is what I want. And if I still feel like it needs more, then I can either add more of the liquid watercolor in, more of the brusho. If I have the color bursts in yellow, which I don't know if I have yellow in that color, do I? I'm chartreuse, but I don't think I have yellow. No. I have different, I also have a lemon yellow somewhere or something. What is it? Lemon. I can add some of that in. And you could just shift the colors ever so slightly by adding different things. Whoa. Let's not spill it now, shall we? If you want more, you know, whatever, you can add more of the powder pigment. You know, just mess around. I mean, that's the fun part of crafting and making your own supplies, is it can be like, you know, almost like chemistry without obviously blowing things up. Duh, I forgot. Printer ink. You could totally use printer ink, but here's the thing with printer ink. Just like printer ink and like ink refills for stamping are very, very similar. So printer ink will dye your paper. Just like this did. It made it like so dyed that very little of it came up and it was so light. Because printer ink is very, very, very strong and concentrated. Let me go grab the yellow real quick. And I'll just add a couple of drops. That's it. I'm not going to add much because you don't want to add much because this stuff, like I said, will stain the paper, which will kind of make it a moot point. And I might even add a little bit more gum arabic, since I did put a lot of water in. So now we can see what we get. But yeah, if you're going to use printer ink, which like I said, I love printer ink for things, it's great. But for making watercolors, you just want to be careful that you don't add more than a couple of drops, you know, as needed. Now it's like, it's even stronger. So I'm happy with that. So now all you got to do is get your bottle and a pipette and just start feeding your newfound liquid watercolor into your bottle. Just make sure that you leave a little bit in the bottom before you put it all in there, and just kind of give it a swirl at the end so that whatever's, if anything, any of the pigment rested on the bottom, whoops, you can get it, because then when you shake it, it'll break it up even further. See, it's just about full. It's just enough for me to add my shimmer. And then I'll show you real quick also how to just use the liquid watercolors, which, like I said, if you have 25 bucks to get the liquid watercolors, that might be your cheapest and best option. You don't have to buy the gum arabic. The gum arabic is going to cost you like 10 bucks anyway. So if you already have gum arabic and you already have either some powder pigments, some ink refills, some printer ink, you know, distress stains, and you don't want to buy another thing, then you're good to go. Then that's all you need, and you could just play with that from there, you know. But if you want to spend a little bit of money, 25 bucks or under, then get yourself these because they are amazing. So I'm going to get some of the, see now here I have some gold. Oh, I have two different golds. I'll use a couple different golds and some of this white, because if you use a few different, you get some pretty results. And I have this little spoon thing. And I usually like to do that. Put a few, you want to, I mean, if you want it really sparkly, then you're going to have to put, you know, a good amount of pigment in there, of mica, I mean, because you're going to need it. Get back here. You want to make sure you leave a little bit of room at the top, especially if you're putting mica in or anything, so that you can shake it, obviously. So you don't want to like fill it all the way to the top with liquid and then have no room for your mica. And you want to put quite a bit. If you want it really sparkly and shimmery, you want to put quite a bit in. And then shake it up and see how it is. And then go back and add more if that's what you want. I just dumped a bunch out. I'm making a big old mess. Big old mess is what I make. It is pretty messy, but it's a lot of fun to do. And that's why I say go for it and sit and play and make your own stuff. Because you know what? These liquid metals are expensive and these bottles are tiny. They're only like 15 grams or something. I have a gnat. Go away, gnat. Get it? Summertime, I got gnats. Anyway, these bottles are ridiculously small. And to me, for the price that you pay for what? I think you get 5 or 6 of these. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, you get 6 of them, and they're like almost $30. To me, that's insane. You know how many of these bottles I could fill with these and then some mica for $25? I can refill this bottle probably 20 times. That's what I mean. Like, it's insane to pay for them because literally that's all they are, is liquid watercolor and mica. Nothing more. So, don't waste your money. It's not worth it. And I'll put a link to where you can get these pigments as well. And you get all different colors. Alright, let's put the cap on. And then see what we think of our shimmery color that we make. Give it another shaky. And I will, don't really have any room for it, but I'll put it over here. Let's see how it looks. If we don't like it, I can always add more shimmer or whatever. Ooh, that's nice and shimmery. Goodness gracious. That is shimmery. I have my autofocus off, so it's not going to show you how shimmery. You can kind of see it. See it? See how shimmery and pretty? Oh, nice. Lots of shimmers. And I don't know if they give you a yellow one with these. No, you don't get a yellow. Wait. Yes, you do. You get a, well, what color is this? I don't know. So we're going to shake it up and see, because I don't know what color it is. Oh, I guess it's a yellow. So, yes, theirs has even more shimmer in theirs than mine. They must, like, half the bottle must be mica. But I can add more, and I will. Let's do that. Let's add more until we get it super, super duper shimmery. And I can add different ones, too. Like, let's see. I have, I don't know if I have Perfect Pearls. I could try some of that. I think they have gold. Actually, I think there's a lot of gold in theirs. I'm looking at it now. Let's see. I have more gold I could put in. I have this gold too. Let's put some of this gold in. I know I can open the bottom, but it takes me forever to do it, so I'll just tap it out. Now, this stuff you can get for $1 at the dollar store, and it's basically just eyeshadow, but it's just like pure mica eyeshadow. Whoops. My alarm goes off. Oh, and I need my medicine, which I put right next to me, thankfully. So for $1, you can get yourself this LA Colors. Usually at Dollar General, Dollar Tree. They're usually the ones who have it. Yeah, because I'm seeing a lot of gold in there now that I look at it. And you don't want to put glitter, because glitter is not the same as mica. Now, mica has glittery kind of properties to it, but it's definitely not glitter. Glitter is thicker and will do like that watercolor. It'll be very sparse and it will not be the same. Whereas the powdered mica, which is mica ground down to a powder, basically, in this case they dye it, or they add it with like a little, like some little gold or yellow pigment mixed in with it, so that it, you know, gives it this kind of gold color. You're better off doing that because glitter won't give you the same effect. Let's see. Where's the other gold that I had? Let's do some more of this gold. I'm just going to add a ton. I'm adding it little scoops at a time, but just be careful you don't knock anything over and make a big mess, which I'm prone to do. Okay. Alright, this should be like some serious shimmer stuff right now. Might even be shimmerier than theirs. Whoops. Oh yeah. Oh heck yeah. Oh yeah, that's going to be either just as or more shimmery than theirs for sure. That's what you need to do. You just need to load up on the mica. Sweet. Well, I'll just put some here since I've already started. See all that sparkle? There's sparkle, but that's even sparklier. Oh yeah. It looks like almost exactly the same as theirs. Like, color and everything is like really, really similar. Actually, the color I made is a bit more pigmented and darker. Oops, I'm peeling the paper because I'm like working at it too much to play. Don't do that, you'll wreck it. I wrecked it. Don't do that. But yeah, it's very easy to do and lots of fun. Let's make a turquoise color because I don't have a turquoise color and I need a turquoise color. Now that I have a yellow, a purple, a teal, and a pink, I do need a turquoise. Let me clean this out. Ooh, or a lime green. I want to see if I can make a lime green. Because I don't have a lime green. And I might be able to do it with that. With the help of this pigment here. Or if nothing else, that cracked pistachio color is definitely comes from one of those types of colors here, because that looks a lot like that cracked pistachio. It sure does. So let's take some of this and put out a bunch of it. And get the pipette and some clean water. Give it a good squirt or two. And I like doing it with a brush. Now see, in the Sargent ones, there's no lime green, but I'm sure if you just mix some green and some yellow together, you can get a kind of lime green color. And I think I even have a lime green brusho. But I'm going to add some of this lemon yellow and see how well that works out. How much closer I can get. Look at that. That is definitely lime green. Oh, you can't see on there. You can't see. Let's see. I'm going to add some gum arabic and water because I make a mess everywhere. What did I do with the gum arabic? There it is. I'm running out of gum arabic. I'm going to have to get myself some more. Okay, and then some water. Now, I'm not going to fill it all the way up because I'm going to add more to it. Let's see, I have this little thing here. That's pretty lime green. Well, you can see there. But we can lime it up some more by adding some of this, which it's kind of messy to get this top off, but it can be a little bit tricky. I had a hard time getting it off. I don't know why they made these dauber things. They're kind of useless. Really hard to get these tops off. I'm just gonna have to put a rag around it and try to pop it up. I was able to get some of them off and others not so much. There we go. Just put your pokey tool underneath of it. This is where your hands are going to get dirty because as soon as you touch this thing, it's going to be like green finger central. Where'd the water one go? Here it is. It's okay if I put a lot of green in because I'm going to put a lot, more yellow in. So that'll just counteract it. Just make sure you put this back in because otherwise you'll do like I did when I was first playing and I spilt my blue one. It's still lime green, but now it's a lot darker. It's not quite like lime green, but again, we've got printer ink. All we need is a drop or two of that. Not too much because it won't do as good of a job. And if you still need more yellow, you can use the watercolor, liquid watercolor, or brushos, stuff like that, or refill, ink refills, yellow yellow ink and refills, yellow ink refills, or like I have somewhere, I have a lime green. Where is it? Brusho somewhere. No, not emerald green. Not moss green either. Lime green. There it is. Lime green. Almost looks orange. It does look orange. Woo! See, that darkened it up. Look how much that darkened it up. Oh, that's nice. Definitely nice. I'm going to add a bit of yellow. I think I have that lemon yellow. What do I do with it? Lemon. Let's do the lemon. And then just add some more watercolor. Perfect. Now we've got some nice candy apple, green apple I mean, lime green, green apple. Works for me. It's very easy. And I'll also put a link below where you can get these bottles on my Zibbit store. I've got these bottles. Whee. So, oh, let me add a little bit more gum arabic in there since I've added so much more liquids and whatnot. And you just want to play with it. You'll get used to the ratios, but play with it. And if it's not watercolory enough and it's not moving enough on the paper, you need more gum arabic. But you don't want to put so much so that it's like, you know, that it's like thick, because the gum arabic obviously will thicken it if you put too much. They make powdered gum arabic too, which you could just dissolve in water. So whichever way will work. Alrighty. Very cool, very cool. Very excited. And there's no shimmer in here yet. I did not put any shimmer in this one, so I'll just put this one here. And lime green. We likey. We likey. But look how shimmery. Now you can see it. See how shimmery mine is? Compared to theirs, mine's even shimmerier. Look at that. Very cool. And I'll make my lime green shimmery as well. Now, I can leave the green in there because I'm going to do a turquoise. So, or I could just show you, if you were to get the watercolors, all you have to do to make a turquoise is use, now they call this turquoise, but it's really a teal. You can just use a blue though. Like if you just use a blue, you don't have to put gum arabic if you're just going to use the liquid watercolors. But you would just use blue and green. And and then of course you're going to want to test it out. Let's see, I need a piece of this. Where'd my palette knife go? Over here. I don't know why this paper has to be connected on both ends. It's not like I need it to be one of those pads that you would have that happen. It's kind of weird. And I dropped my rag again. My rag dropped. We don't want that. I can't really tell what the color is. Probably way too dark. Yeah, it's a pretty color, but it's way too dark still. Needs some blue, and it needs some water too, probably. So we'll add some blue. I can even add some of this sailboat blue. But I'm going to add, at that point, a little bit of gum arabic. Even if I add just a little bit of that. Because I don't want to give that sailboat blue a chance to sink into my paper if I don't have to. It's getting a little more teal. I probably need to put more green. I think I'll try putting some of that lime green in. That'll help a bit. I use the back of this one. I think I need more water. I think we're just a bit too dark. And I wonder if I put a little bit of yellow in. Experiment time. I mean, probably going to turn mostly greener. Yeah. And put some, where's the other blue I have? There it is. Put some blue. That's all you really need to do if you get the watercolors. Because I don't have a white to really make it turquoisey, it's going to be harder to make it turquoise. I mean, I do have a white, actually. Actually, there's a white brusho, and I have a white brusho. I don't understand the point of it. I have it. It doesn't make any sense to me, like when I'm using the brushos. I thought it would be cool when you're using the brushos, but it's kind of dumb. But I wonder if it'll help in this situation. Maybe. I didn't make a very good hole in the bottom of it, so. Just kind of give it a good tappity tap. I don't know what that's gonna do. And I need another piece of paper. I'll just use the back of this. Oh, there we go. That's a pretty color. See, on camera, I know turquoises and teals turn up just blue. They don't really, I don't know what it is about them, but they don't turn up, you know, I don't know, not the same for some strange reason. Definitely more turquoise than, obviously, it's got more green in it than this one, which again, you probably can't tell on camera because on camera, everything looks blue. Yeah, see, that's a teal and that's a turquoise. I don't know, see, that's the problem. It's not showing really any green in there. There's a lot of green in it, actually. See what happens when I add the white directly to here. It's pretty. Yeah, this is pretty. Really tap it to get it the heck out. But I also have titanium white pigment as well. So I could take some of that and actually, let me get some of that. Where is it? let's see, because if you go to Earth Pigments, you can also get the titanium white, and that'll help you in mixing your colors. And that's probably all that this is in here, is probably a titanium white with a powdered gum arabic. Almost guarantee that's all it is. Because I can't imagine it being anything else, because that's really all. I mean, you can even use these to make your own brushos, because all you would do is add your color with the powdered gum arabic, which they also sell on their site, the powdered gum arabic. So you would mix the two together. I don't know the ratio. You just play with it until you get the right ratio that you like. Ooh, there we go. So there we have more of a chalkier color, but a more, I like it better as far as a turquoise goes. I'm going to add a little bit more green to it. Let's see how that does. But it has more green. Well, see, it's not going to show up on there. Dang it. It really doesn't show up on there very well. It's a cross between the teal and the turquoise, but definitely more turquoise. Yeah, I like it. I like it. Now, if I probably added some like light blue, like light cyan or whatever, like the printer ink or something, I could probably get a better color out of it. Now, let's see. Where do I want to put this? Where is my thing? Oh, down here. I need a bottle. So that's another bonus of getting the pigments, the powders, is that you can make your own kind of brushos. And I'll probably show that in an upcoming video, because I'm going to be getting some of the powdered gum arabic, and I will be able to show you how to do that, because I'm going to play around with the formula and make my own. I mean, is it going to be as perfect and as great as brushos? Probably not, but it's a good, you know, it'll be a good DIY to make your own at home. Just, you know, because it's fun to do stuff like that. It's fun to play. I'm going to add a little water to this since I have room to add water. All right, so now need some, definitely need some mica. Let's see, what mica do I want? Oh, I have this like green stuff. Yeah, I'll get that one and this one, so I can add a little bit of both of those. I like a variety. This is the Cosmic Shimmer, and then this is just like a green sparkly mica. I'll add that to the lime green as well. So I'll add some of that one, some of this one, and we'll see what it looks like all shimmered out. The white shimmery stuff. Where's the white mica? There it is. It was hiding. It was hiding. Getting a little full in there. Probably. Now when you're, making all your mixed media backgrounds and stuff, you'll have all these fun things to play with that you didn't have before, and that you don't have to pay buku bucks for. And if you already have the gum arabic and some stuff laying around, you can just start putting things together and having a good old time. I always tell people to play, don't waste the opportunity to discover something new, discover something that you might like, or to make your own something or other, because you could totally do it. You just need to try. And shimmery, you could probably use some more though if I want it to be like super shimmery, but it is shimmery and it's pretty. It's a pretty color. Yes, it's very pretty. Yeah, it's shimmery all right, but I might want it more shimmery. But let me add some to the green, because I didn't even add any shimmer to the lime green. Nothing at all. And it needs some shimmer. It deserves shimmer. I don't really use these little micas, these little cosmic shimmers or the perfect pearls and all that. I don't use them for like anything else really, other than mixing my own stuff together and adding it to something, That's about it. It's more fun that way. What other colors I got in here? Anything? Oh, I have a green in here from the perfect pearls too. Oh, let's add some of that green. It's a darker green, but that's all right. Looks like it has a little bit more of an iridescent quality to it. So we'll see what happens with that. It might darken my stuff, so I better be careful. I don't want to darken my color. And then we need the white pigment, please. And see, you don't want to do that. Luckily, it's not. I didn't lose too much in the process. I'm a hot mess. I don't like cylinders like this because I will spill them. I'd rather like the little pots when it comes to this stuff, because then it's not top heavy in any way and I don't knock it over. Just shake it up a little bit. Too much sitting at the top. It's a messy job, but it's fun though. Because then you can custom make it how you want it. You can make the color how you want it. You can make the shimmer how you want it. And it's not like, it's not just store-bought and that's it. How it is how it is. All right, where's my paper? There we go. Let's see how this looks. Seems like it's gonna be shimmery to me. Oh yeah. Very nice. It's a lime green and it's shimmery. You can mix it with some of this. Very nice. Very nice. Very nice. I'm digging it completely. Yeah, that's nice. That's the green. That's the, isn't that the turquoise I just made? Because it's shimmery. Shimmery. Yeah, it has to be because the other ones aren't shimmery. So yeah, it came out nice and shimmery. See it? When it dries, you'll see the shimmer. Isn't that cool? So I've got all these colors now, and I already have the stuff laying around the house. You know, if you don't, you only have to get minimal things. You know, if you already have everything but the gum arabic, then just get the gum arabic. If you already have these and you just need the mica, then just get a mica. You know what I mean? Unless you don't want them shimmery. You don't have to have them shimmery. But if you're like me and you have a little bit of everything, well then you can make all your own colors and have a fun array of colors. Let's test out my colors now. I'm gonna do that color. And you know, like, I know somebody's gonna say, well, what if you want to make more of it? How are you gonna get the exact same color? I don't care if it's the exact same color, as long as it's a similar color and typically, basically the same color that I had before. I don't care. I'm not looking, you know, it doesn't matter to me whether it's perfect every time. I don't, you know, and if you're that crazy about it, then you can sit and just, you know, I don't know, measure it out as you go. But to me, like, I'm not that worried. I'm sure I will make a very similar color. You know, I'm not gonna, if I use the same things, you know, I know by eye what I'm looking for, so, you know. And then I have another pink. What do I do with that one? Where'd it go? Oh, over here. All right. So now we've got our turquoise. We have our lime green, which they go together nice. We have our teal. We have our yeller. We have our pink. And we have our bubblegum pink. Look how pretty those colors are. Holy moly moly. And they're all really shimmery. Oh, and purple. I forgot about purple. Can't forget purple. Can't forget purple. My goodness, what am I, silly? Nice shimmery purple. So, there you go. Make your own. Make your own. Make your own. Basically, liquid metals, or those new ones that are called liquid sparkle or something like that. The liquid sparkle, the only difference between the liquid metal by Ken Oliver and the liquid sparkles are, ooh, look how green my hands are the opacity. So the liquid metals are more, they're more opaque. That means that the dye that's in them is more prevalent, and you know, it's really all it is. And then the liquid sparkles, all it is basically the same thing, just more watered down with, you know, less dye or less watercolor, you know, opacity, and more, it's more about the sparkle or the mica. And they both have mica in them. So really, if you have the liquid metals, don't bother getting the liquid sparkles, because you can make your own. You can make your own out of these. Just put half of this into another jar and put some water in it and add a little bit more mica, and you'll have those. Because really, that's the only difference. Like, it would be the difference of like this and like this. I'll show you. It would be as if you had this and this. Like, where it was more about the sparkle and less about the color. That's the difference between the two, literally. I mean, the colors obviously might be different, so if you really want those particular colors, you know, I'm sure they don't have the exact color, but I'm just saying, it's really, there's not much different. I don't have the liquid sparkles, but from what I've seen on other people using them, that's exactly what they look like. So you just have to judge that for yourself or decide. But to me, they're just too expensive, you know. I mean, it's like $30 for a set. And I just can't justify $30 for 6 tiny little bottles that are literally this big. 0.5 fluid ounces, so a half an ounce. Whereas these are probably about an ounce, these bottles. Yeah, because they're half of this bottle, and this is 2 ounces. So, yeah, it's just more economical, you know. So, I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you will give it a try. And if you do, let me know and share in our group. We have a Facebook group listed below, and you'll also find the links to the liquid watercolors, some gum arabic, what else is there? Oh, the micas. So you'll have those things will be below. But also below you'll find a link to my Zivit store where you can buy the bottles, and I have lots of other things in that store like stencils and stamps and the sponges that I like to use, which mine's really stained, but it's still fine. They're yellow when they're new. But I love using these for stenciling. They work great. I have those. I have all kinds of things in my store, so just check out that. You'll find the link below. I also have a Patreon. Check that out too. I do classes. So every month we do a class. This month we're doing a mixed media canvas that's like a beach theme with like shells and sand and all kinds of fun stuff. And so if you're interested in classes and things like that, definitely check out my Patreon. Also, I do live streams on Fridays and sometimes Saturdays that are not open to the public. So they're not going to just be on YouTube. They are on YouTube, but they're private. And the only way you can get those is if you're one of my Patreon folks. So go check my Patreon out. You can look at the different tiers that I have, because for each tier you get different things. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. And if you did, give it a thumbs up. And if you're not subscribed, make sure you subscribe, because then you will be sure to be able to find my channel and see any new videos I put out, or live streams especially. Again, Facebook group. I have a Facebook group that's linked below. Everything will be linked below. So I hope you have a good rest of your day, and make sure you do what you love and love what you do, and be nice to people. And I will talk to you later.